Our next session is on investment opportunities in technology sector of Bangladesh, and this session will be chaired by Mr. Aziz Ahmed, who is the CEO of UTC Associates, co-founder, Corders Trust Bangladesh, and the chairman of US Bangladesh Global Chamber of Commerce. The session will be moderated by Qazi Sarwar Habib, CIP, Secretary General, NRB CIP Association, President, Pizza Express Japan Limited. The keynote speaker of the session is Mohammad Inayat Rahman, CEO and President, Ulka Semi. And the panelists for these sessions are Engineer Azadul Haq, who is the CEO, Power Max Group, Chairman, B2B, Syed Muajjem Hussain, Director, FBCCI, M.M. Shaheen, former Member of the Parliament, Chairman, Board of Editors, Weekly Tikana, New York. Abu Tahir, CEO, Time Television USA. Rizwanul Haq Jami, Head of E-Commerce, A2I, ICT Division, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Muhammad Shofiuddin, CIP, Executive Member, CIP Association, Bahrain, General Manager, National Fish Company, Pacific Aluminium Group. I request the session chair, the moderator, keynote speaker, and the panelists to please come and take your seat. Before we start the session, I would just like to state briefly about our keynote speaker, Mr. Mohammad Inayat Rahman. He is a Bangladeshi luminary in a global entrepreneurship. He is a Chief Executive Officer and a president of Ulka Semi, a high-tech company with offices in Silicon Valley, California, USA, and Dhaka, Bangladesh. Ulka Semi provides semiconductor design service for major technology companies based in USA and Asia, and assists its clients in developing the next flagship product lines such as mobile device, complex router, switches, computer storage, microprocessor, and graphic processor. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and Assalamu alaikum to all of you. I am Qazi Sarwar Habib, General Secretary of NRB CIP Association. Today I'd like to welcome you all to these sessions and investment opportunities in technology sector of Bangladesh. As all we know, our Bangladesh has been developing, improving. As we know, I'm the country from Japan. If we see how the country can be developed from agro to industry, industry to technology, now technology to AI, we are going to work on it. So now I think this is the right time to discuss this matter for our country, how we can go from agro to industry. Now we are almost 60 to 70%. We converted our industrial economy from agro to industry. Now we are thinking about to think about the technology. It's already started. It's not the beginning. I said it's already started. Our country have been, we already sent the satellite to the orbit to prove it. We are able to do this one. So we are thanks to our great leader, Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This is a big dream for her. Now we have Bangladeshi satellite in the orbit. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope very soon we are going to send our second satellite in orbit. Before I am going to start my discussion today, I'd like to introduce my panel today. Our today's panel chair is, thank you. I'd like to introduce my chair, Mr. Aziz Ahmed, CEO, UTC Association, co-founder, Corders Trust Bangladesh, Chairman, US Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'd like to introduce my keynote speaker, Mohammad Inayat Rahim, CEO and President of UKASHIM. I'd like to also introduce my another panelist, Engineer Mohammad Azadul Haq, CEO, Power Max Group, Chairman, B2B. I'd like to also introduce Mr. Syed Muajjem Hussain, Director, FBCCI. Also, I'd like to introduce Mr. M.M. Shaheen, former Member of Parliament, Chairman, Board of Editors, Weekly Tikana, New York. Okay. Also, I'd like to introduce Mr. Abu Taher, CEO, Time Television USA. And also, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rezanul Haq Jami, Head of E-Commerce, A2I, ICT Division, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh. And at the end, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mohammad Shafiuddin, CIP, Executive Member of CIP Association of Bahrain, General Manager, National Fish Company, Pacific Group. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say a few words for my chair today. To start the seminar today, I'd like to pass my mic to my chair.
Thank you, Mr. Sarwar. Little bit about me. Why I'm here. So I'm technologist and a business person. And so I was at some point was the chief architect for AT&T 21st Century Network in 90s. That's all the technology that evolved and transformed, injecting all the coding and cybersecurity, everything evolved from 90s. So the economy, transformation, social impact, and the economic impact, these are all the theme for today in this today's panel. Very, very important panel. And we would like to, we need to see the impact of the session, as well as the theme about this, how we can inject technology into non-technology sector, how we can improve the efficiency of human efficiency with the advent of technology. Not only the artificial intelligence and VLSI designs and all the cyber security and cloud transformation, but very basic technological transformation that is happening around the world is like, what are the relevancy today? So we can talk about the technology, and we can talk about in technology can kill someone in the middle of the dinner, or send the life-saving medications with the AI technology. But what are the relevancy? How we can send the very stable or build a stable internet into the rural area, not only in the Bangladesh, but around the globe. I was in the commission in the US with the New York State Governor's Commission in terms of how to really, how to serve the underserved, and with the broadband technology. So these are the things that we need to discuss in the today's panel in terms of the investment in relevancy. So whether you just clean the drinking water with the technology and send the high-speed, very high bandwidth file from the coast to coast, these are all relevancy. That's what we need to discuss. And with that, I'm so honored to be here with the panelists, very distinguished panelists, and I hope everybody really thanks for your time for this important event, that understand the impact of this, and we all take the advantage of this very experienced panelists. With that, I back to Sarwar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, to give us some valuable advice, and I'd like to come back him again and again for a few other matters. Before I go into my panel, I'd like to request my keynote speaker, Mr. Anayatur Rahim, CEO and President of UKASHIM, for give his presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the little time limitations today. All we are trying to give our valuable opinion in a little 3 to 5 minutes, but our keynote speaker will take a little bit longer, but after that we'll come back. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Ahlan sahlan. Let me thank the organizer for bringing us here. Wonderful city of Dubai. Previous presentation, I think people talk about garment industry. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. When I left Bangladesh, there was no garment industry in Bangladesh. And now Bangladesh is one of the largest garment producer in the world. My history is started in Silicon Valley. I designed chips, semiconductor chips. It's very different. from any other places. And another story of mine, when I started in Silicon Valley in early 80s, there was absolutely nothing in semiconductor in India, China, many other countries. There are few countries had semiconductor. One is Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Forget about rest of the country. Now, world has changed. I witnessed the change. In 90s, the Bangalore started. Bangalore was a sleeping town. But in 90s, multinational company went to India, set up shop and everything. If you look out around every country around Bangladesh, I forget about Myanmar, they got into semiconductor except Bangladesh. It bothered me because I didn't know what's going on. So in 2007, I went back to Bangladesh. I packed myself, went to Bangladesh, started my company with 4 engineers, with uncertain future, and I did not take any investment from anybody because I was not sure whether I will be able to succeed. There are a couple of companies tried before me, they also failed. So there is no good example for me to follow. So today I'm talking about investment in Bangladesh. I'm talking about more into high-tech arena. Bangladesh got a lot of investment. You see, okay. So we can look at the traditional industries, the ready-made garments, pharmaceutical, shipbuilding, braking. Bangladesh did an excellent job in those things, okay? But I'm looking at to the new industry, which is called Fourth Industrial Revolution. In the Fourth Industrial Revolution, this is where Bangladesh should focus if they want to see the future. Because there will be IT tsunami. Bangladesh, don't forget, Bangladesh is the 8th largest country in the world. Don't underestimate yourself. If we are prepared, we are ready to prepare ourselves to take advantage of this tremendous growth. There will be tremendous amount of Bangladeshi will have jobs. Otherwise, it will be difficult to create jobs in Bangladesh. Another advantage of Bangladesh is there will be very clearly 2 camps in the world is coming future, okay? One will be India-centric, which is English-oriented country, and there will be China-centric. This is obvious already, we know is coming. Bangladesh is in a very unique situation to take advantage of both. And don't be shy, take advantage of both. Because we set our destiny, okay? So I've been in the business in Bangladesh for 14 years. As I said, I started with 4 engineers. Now we have 4 offices around the world. We have more than 220 engineers in Bangladesh. We have 30 engineers in Silicon Valley. We have office in Toronto, Canada, and Bangalore, India. And part of the reason is resource augmentation, I call it. If I have to complete a project, I need those resources. Doesn't matter which part of the world they are in, okay? There are 28 universities in Bangladesh. By the way, we are hiring people from computer science and electrical engineering background. And you'll be surprised about 100 universities in Bangladesh offering those courses. Here I listed 28 universities from whom I hired all those engineers, more than 200 engineers. So I learned a lot. They are not ready to work on those specialized industry. So investment should be in 2 places. So one is, especially from my perspective, from the Ulka Semi, and anybody is doing in the high-tech industry, that should generate some sort of knowledge workforce. So traditional university with degree-centric universities, I think it will be, the near future will be a challenge. They are generating enough workforce for the traditional industry and all those things, but we need a specialized skill to fit into those industry. And universities are not doing that because every time we hire, we had to train them for almost a year before we can expose them to the customer. A seismic shift and a mindset is needed for the parents and the students. You have to completely rethink how the education is done. There will be degree, but people have to be problem solving, hands-on, and those kind of things, okay? And another area I want to highlight is semiconductor packaging and testing. So now question is, what is semiconductor? Semiconductor is the chips that goes everywhere, from the toys to cars and everywhere, okay? There will be medical devices, there will be automotive industry, use cell phone, everything carries semiconductor. Without that, it will not work. So we are dependent. Our life is dependent. There will be wearable devices. There will be heartbeat monitoring. Everything will be in semiconductor chips, okay? And so many places the application is, it will require huge workforce. And Bangladesh is one of the country will provide. And that is one of the reasons I went back in 2007. Now, it has already reached $500 billion industry. I think in few years it will be $1 trillion industry. And I think Bangladesh should take advantage of this growing pie. So let me simplify, very simplistic way to explain for common people. The semiconductor has 3 segments. One is semiconductor design side, manufacturing, which is called fabrication, and packaging. Now, design side, in last 14 years, I think Ulka Semi, our company, is well positioned to do any chip design. From architecture to all the way before it goes to the fab, we call it GDS2. So then fabrication is one area, is very, very complex. Bangladesh should never try to get in. I should not say never, but in near future, not try to get into fabrication. This is very complex things. Very few country was able to succeed. I'm coming into that. Even India failed. India failed 3 times. They are still trying because fabrication is something every country wants. Then packaging and testing, that's another area Bangladesh can easily get in. Bangladesh can create an industry like Penang. So from our semiconductor side of these things, for Ulka Semi, what we did is I'm showing this is 2021, 2022. So we are doing chip design, all those verification, which is done in this way. And then we are doing silicon IP development. We are planning to do for 2022, and then silicon packaging and testing. I'm showing there are 3 companies here, Apple, TSMC, and Global Foundry. And there is a reason. We do at least almost 20, 25 companies worldwide. Bulk of our customers in the United States. So Apple, you all know, we are doing a very critical work for Apple. We have almost 30 engineers in Silicon Valley, and we are working your next generation iPhone and very critical type of work over there in Cupertino. We have an office there. And then world's largest semiconductor fab is called TSMC. We are doing work for TSMC, and I tell you, it's very difficult to work with TSMC. They so far qualified 20 company. They call it Design Center Alliance, and our company became the 21st company. And believe me, this is a great milestone to achieve. Now, there is another company you can see, Global Foundries. In the United States, there are only 2 foundry. Okay, one is Global Foundry, one is Intel. Now, you'll be surprised that Taiwan dominates the foundry market. But Global Foundry is funded by Abu Dhabi Group. Abu Dhabi Group first put $10 billion, and then they put another $15 billion, $25 billion in Global Foundry. The interesting thing is, we have almost 80 people working in Dhaka for Global Foundries. We are developing their technology, their modeling, power analysis, all sorts of work is done in Dhaka. And we are expanding that to 100 and 120 or 130 by January or February. We have already planning, we have a discussion. So something I want to tell you here, that semiconductor, the thing fab we are talking about, you'll be surprised that there's a tiny island of Taiwan. So Taiwan is one of the small country. It dominates almost 80% of the semiconductor market. You'll be surprised your iPhone or Android phone will not work if there is no Taiwan. United States, Japan, forget it, they're all behind schedule. Behind in technology. I think the next closest technology-wise, the company or country comes is Samsung, which is in South Korea. So look how Asian countries are dominating. So if I fast forward another 5 years, 10 years, there is absolutely no doubt that Asian country will dominate in technology, development, and other things. That's why we need to be ready. So I'm giving an example of packaging and testing. I just took an example of a Korean company, Amkor. This is one of the largest semiconductor packaging company in the world. Look, all those red things, they invested in Korea, Japan, Greater China, Philippines, Malaysia. Look at Bangladesh. Question is why they did not go to Bangladesh. So this is where we need to do something. That's what I think Bangladesh needs investment. I think one of the things I just wanted to explain you, as I said, fab is very difficult things to do, but this wafer, this is called wafer, has a lot of small square things called die. This is coming out of the fabrication. And then what we do is we take this wafer, we do wafer testing, we call it wafer sort. We want to absolutely make sure so functionally that wafer is working. And then we do packaging, and then we do package testing. Those are multi-million-dollar thing. So what is happening here? This is one area Bangladesh can do very well. It requires huge investment, anywhere between 200 million to $1 billion investment. And it has to be a joint venture project. Anyway, forget it. Let me tell you this. Can you come, next slide. Okay, here. So for the assembly and testing, this is one thing. What we have to do, only option is investment and joint venture, and then government has to negotiate with, if the Korean government, then we have to work with the Korean government so that we bring Bangladesh into the semiconductor radar. When I started first my business, by the way, Bangladesh was never been in semiconductor. It was a hard sell. It was very difficult to convince customer to do any business in Bangladesh because they think Bangladesh doesn't belong to any semiconductor business. So similarly, if you have to bring this wave of testing and packaging, Ulkasemi, we offered our help to the government. I wish our honorable ministers are here today. But one thing I need from Bangladesh government, I'm going to Dhaka day after tomorrow, and this is one thing I'm going to lobby to the government, that we need to negotiate with the Korean government. We need to work together. We need investment. I think we can easily build this fab in a joint venture way. So there are several things we can do. We have a test program development, yield enhancement, and all this. This is kind of technological buzzword. I don't want to say much about this. But what I'm saying that there's a lot of possibility in Bangladesh. And as we demonstrate ourselves, when we start with 4 engineers to came to this level after 14 years, I think this is probably much easier compared to what we have gone through. And as we demonstrate ourselves, we are also offering our help to Bangladesh government to work with any government, negotiate, make sure that we show the possibility of Bangladesh. Because we have a population dividend, we have a younger population, which is medium age of 28 years old. This is a great thing, and we should take advantage of that. So, in conclusion, I said the investment time for Bangladesh is now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anad Rahman, for his valuable presentation for us. I hope at this point, I like to go my panel today, and I start the panel with Mr. Ajadul Haq, CEO of Max Group and Chairman B2B. Mr. Ajad, in 3 minutes, I have one question for you. If you can explain to us, if the semiconductor business seems to be pretty high-tech, in your opinion, how ready is Bangladesh for such a high-tech industry? In 3 minutes, if you can tell us.
I think I'll take 2 minutes. I understand the time critical. Thank you for the right question. For the audience, I'm going to set the perspective. What you just heard, the technical parameters, a human hair is about 80,000 to 100,000 micron. If we really measure in nanometer, it's about 80 to 100,000 nanometer. Anything below 100 micron, we call nanotechnology. Below 100 nanometers, we don't see that in our eyes. We have to use a microscope or electron microscope. So put it in perspective. These people in Bangladesh, what they're working on is not in 80,000, not in 100, 5 micron. At 5 nanometers. Now, 5 nanometers is a standard across the world for working in VLSI design. but they have not stopped at 5 nanometers. Currently, they're working on 3 nanometers. And there are so far, if I understand correctly, only 21 Design Center Alliance, DCE, from the Taiwanese TMSC, right? TSMC, approved and qualified to do that kind of a design. So that's where Bangladesh is right now. We're not only behind, forget about being behind, we are leading in the high-tech industries to compete with the rest of the world. That's why a company like Apple is hunting him down, asking him, and I had a good conversation with him, Apple is asking, how many engineers can you give me tomorrow? In Bangladesh, to find, if we go on Apple and we tell them, I have 30 engineers, I can give you another 30. They might say, I need 5,000. When can you give me 5,000 engineers? So that's where we are in Bangladesh. But in conclusion, my personal perspective is, this is the 50th anniversary of Bangladesh. We are talking about 3 nanometers. Should we be happy with achieving 3 nanometers and pat ourselves in the back? I think we should think about what are we going to do 50 years from now. We may not be here. Our future generation is going to have a seminar like this in the 100-year anniversary of Bangladesh. Should they be talking about nanotechnology, or they should be talking about picotechnology? So we need to plant the seed now, invest in Bangladesh, invest in technology sector, plant the seed in the minds of the children that are being born today. So 50 years from now, we can reap the benefit. These are the people to lead that, and we need all the investors to come to Bangladesh and invest not only the general sectors and industries, but also in the high-tech industry. Thank you. I think it's less than 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Rajat, for your valuable input. I think, as you know, when you work for the technologies, we need our experts, we need our entrepreneurs, we need our policymakers. So to transforming any country to agro to industry, industry to technology, we need all of your support. Now at this moment, how do you feel? Anything, we need technology, just without breathing, for natural breathing. As I feel that I'm also technological lover, so I love to see the technological transformation, all these things. Now I'm going to my next panelist, Mr. Soyed Moajim Hussain, Director at BCCI. Sir, my question is for you. I'm very happy to welcome you in our global summit. Sir, my question is for you. As a business entrepreneur, as our business body and as our FBCCI representative, can you tell us which sector, in your eyes, we can go for Bangladeshi investment in technology? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Miracle Bangladesh. Today is the subject of the economists of the world. What is Bangladesh? How it is possible? They are proceeding like this. We studied the development history of Japan. We studied the development history of Korea. We studied the development history of Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia. But now the subject is Bangladesh. Why? The one reason. Peoples of Bangladesh. We are huge peoples of Bangladesh who has the capability to adaptability of the technology. If you see anywhere in the world, wherever the Bangladesh is gone, the adaptability capacity of technology, knowledge is enormous. So, Bangladesh is a virgin land now. If you want to invest, you have to invest in the peoples, not only the technology. Who will run the technology? That is the human being. So, Bangladesh is now ready with our peoples, who is now graduates in technology. We have a 57 of the technical education, 28 of the technical universities. We are creating people for you. That is the opportunity. I am just telling you one story. 40 years before, a girl of Bangladeshi village girls never wear undergarments, never used sandal, never seen a car or bus or train. That girl came in the city, given 2 months training, making the best garments for the best brands. What is the capability? Can you imagine these things? These poor girls came from the village straightway to the Dhaka and made these things. So that is really, they have the capability. I tell you now, he's asking me, which sector is the next? Technology of today, not the technology of yesterday. And technology of today, not the technology of the tomorrow. So technology is changing, is gradually increasing. And that technology, if you do not know how to adapt in our society, in our country, we cannot survive. Inshallah, Bangladesh is now ready to take the technology. I'm telling these things to you, the next what is the opportunity? Garments, we have a second largest in the world, making the whole brands garments here. Here is also technology change now. And we have our technology in the ICT. The third largest freelancer is Bangladesh. So think today. This freelancer will be the expert, will be the professional. And next is the ICT in Bangladesh, which can overcome the garments industry. And I believe it is possible. And then next you can say also the opportunity in Bangladesh is also in the tourism sector. Entire country is a opportunities there. Everything is a subject. Population is also a subject for the tourists. Huge peoples in a city nobody can see anywhere in the world. Huge people in the village nobody can see in the world. That to see the population also, Bangladeshi visitors will come, the foreign tourists will come. So opportunity is there. We have the leather technology. 100% is the own product. 100% is the product which you can really making and then export. So opportunity is there. Many, many things opportunity is there. Only the thing is this, I can tell you, we FBCCI, Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Bangladesh, representing entire business community of Bangladesh. It is within 3 minutes I cannot really tell many things. Only the things I can say, please visit our website. If you have any of the information you want to know, any of your interest of investment in Bangladesh, please visit us. Just send a message. We commit you, we'll respond to you. Thank you very much. Inviting you to come to Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us your valuable opinion. I know that 3 minutes is not enough. Just we'll come back to you with another session. We'll have to listen more about this one. Now I'd like to go my left, Mr. Shafi. Sir, I know you're from Bahrain and you are our executive member of our CIP association. From Bahrain, do you think anything we can transfer to Bangladesh in the technological field? In a short, sir, just 2 minutes, if you just say something.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to all. So, yes, Bangladesh is land of Hogu investment opportunity. There is no doubt at all. You can see the infrastructure development and our economic growth. And there is a predicted of the economic growth by 2030, our economy and GDP will be surpassed by the India. And we are leading in the economy in the Asian region. So we are NRB, of course, we can do investment in our back home country in Bangladesh in many sectors. Bangladesh is mainly leading by the garments, but there is many other sectors there like IT, technology, and many different. So every sector is open. So I will request all the NRB here, we have to make the platform and we should come forward to the Bangladesh to work together as a land of opportunity of the investment. So I hope this is all. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Safir, for your valuable advice. And now Mr. Rezanul Haq, Head of E-Communications, A2I, ICT Division, Government of People's Republic of Bangladesh. Sir, I know, according to your visiting card, I find where you're from and what you do. Just, sir, I have the shortest of time. Just, can you just give us the short brief of like, in especially ICT, just other, my last panelist, Mr. Muazzam, said we can go for freelancing. But my question is for you exactly which side, like say now the new technological development is coming like a cloud, before we know Microsoft, then this and that. So if we advise our Bangladeshi new freelancers, which sector we can go on it? Please, sir.
Thank you. I would divide my answer in three parts. I would respectfully give you one very interesting data, which my previous esteemed colleague has said that Bangladesh is third in the freelancing community. It's not. Bangladesh is second in world outsourcing community, and a lot of my North American NRB CIPs are here. When you are calling for tech support, previously it went to Bangalore in India. Most of those calls are now coming in Bangladesh. You might not understand. Those outsourcing people are now being trained to talk in Indian English accent, just so the esteemed American companies feel more comfortable giving these calls to Bangladesh. Sorry, so specifically, what I'm trying to say is Bangladesh leads the charge in ICT for frugal innovation. Most of us in the greater investment community don't understand this. We have sheer number. Bangladesh is 8th in terms of population, in terms of a market size in the world. Now, think about technology or ICT-based investments that bear fruit. I can talk about unicorns in Bangladesh, talk about chaldal.com, talk about a lot of those small companies which have grown big based on those numbers only. A grocery technology company targeting digital business in ICT, if you want to set it up anywhere else in the world, the amount of money that is required, you will need only 1/10 of that in Bangladesh. Why? The government and ICT division have already created that infrastructure. So now you have fiber optic high-speed connectivity up to the union level. You have high-tech parks all around the country. If you invest in a high-tech park, you get tax breaks completely for next 10 years. The workers that are going to come in, work for that, work for in the high-tech parks will get, income tax break, just like Dubai. Now, most of the people don't know about all these things. My FBCCI senior colleague, everything is listed in the FBCCI website as well, as you said. So please take advantage of that. On the specific sector, I think digital business is the way to go. I'll give you an example of another company. It's called the Cow Company, K-O-W. What is it? We talk about garments, right? What is garments? We took advantage of the labor, the cheap labor. What is happening right now in Bangladesh is the knowledge workers, we are churning them out like anything, and they are also very cheap. So the Cow Company, what they do you know? They have actually created a garments, but not producing garments, they are doing clipping parts. Imagine how many million of pictures are there in Amazon.com, right? A new product, this bottle of water, right? But to upload that bottle of water into a .com, you need to do a Photoshop thing and everything. Who will do that? So this Cow Company has employed 700 people. They are expanding like anything. And how much does it cost to, create a company like that in Bangladesh? You need space. You need to recruit people, and that's it. So just I'm closing in 20 seconds. I implore you to engage with the government. There are divisions like ours, A2I and ICT division, which are set up for that. There is a specific vehicle that has been created called Startup Bangladesh. There are specific vehicles like Aspire to Innovate A2I program. I came from a private sector background. I was abroad myself. I was in France. But the government has pulled me in to run specific sectors and investments. So please do engage. You will be surprised. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rezanul Haq, for valuable addition with us. Now I go like to Mr. Abu Taher, CEO, Time Television. Sir, as I remember before COVID, I visited your office and you interviewing us with my president and all these things. Now I have these opportunities with you. Sir, yesterday when I talked to you, I find you have been in journalism last 35 years. Sir, as the NRB and all our heart, we find a small Bangladesh in it. So I know you, me, we are not technological people like Mr. Rezo and then Mr. Enam. So sir, I want to know you, if you think that if the NRBs can go for the technological investment, it's opportunities we need to create, we need to create the platforms. Sir, in your views, in a general thinking, which sectors and how and what, in 2-3 minutes, sir, can you advise?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not taking a long time, but let me tell you one thing. I'm not a tech guy, but everybody talk about the investment and everything, and I will talk the perspective of NRB, because I'm living in abroad about 27 years, so I know what is the problem. Because when you talk about the invest, but you have to think about what is the problem. Is there any gap between the NRB and the government or the environment? We have to consider this. I think, so let me share this small experience. I came in this country, Dubai. I took just my passport, US passport in my pocket. I came to the airport. I take the plane. I came in the airport, and there is an immigration booth. I came. They took my picture and say go. Okay? So I came here. I feel like nothing. It's like I'm coming from one house to another house. Okay? So and then my previous speaker, he said about the Asia will be the next hub or leader of the tech in the world. So there is a competition. Asia doesn't mean that Bangladesh. Asia is a lot of country, right? So there is a lot of competition will be, and you have to compete the other countries as well. What I think as a NRB, as a non-resident Bangladeshi in the US I'm living, which is the NRB and the environment of the country and the government there is some wall. We have to break the wall. Number one, I think build up the trust. Because when I am going to Bangladesh, then I'm thinking about a lot of things. Whether I will be victim of the immigration problem, whether there will be a bureaucratic problem, where there will be the political violence, I'll be victim of political violence. A lot of other things, always people, the NRB thing. So we have to build up a trust that, okay, when I'm going to Bangladesh, then everything will be smooth. There will be no conflict, right? So I think, so in order to do this, and also I have to feel comfortable. So I cannot go to the minister, I cannot go to a secretary, because it's a lot of problem to go to a minister, to go to a secretary. What we have to do? The government has to have a dialogue between us, between NRB and the government, and see how we can build up the bridge and break the wall, which is a trust, right? And then if they want to do more investment in Bangladesh, then they have to build up, what is my recommendation as a journalist, what I think, they can build a commission where the NRB will be represented. They can take few members from NRB. So if I want to talk about the investment in Bangladesh, I can talk to you, rather I am talking to a minister, their buyer. আমি বাংলাদেশে বিনিয়োগ করতে চাই, আমি এই জায়গায় যাব, আমার কি করতে হবে, right? I will feel more comfortable than the ministers, because it's very tough to go to the ministers. So আমার কাছে যেটা মনে হয়, বাংলায় বলি আমি, যে আমাদের ট্রাস্ট বিল্ড আপ করতে হবে, এবং রিয়েলিটি যেটা বাস্তবতা কি এটা অনুধাবনের জন্য একটা টিম গঠন করা উচিত। তারা they can have a dialogue between Bangladesh, between the NRB, and then we can come up with a solution where everybody will be comfortable and the door has to be open. The door has to be welcoming. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, because as the NRBs, we always working on it. As you know, our theme of this summit and our concept is this almost connect your business and investment opportunities. But anyway, we want to go back to our country. We want to our beloved motherland for Bangladesh. As the NRBs, we should to be united. And that's the things we can, if we be united all over the world, This is I think we should to achieve from here. If we know each other, if we know all this part, we can come back. Now, before I go to my audience for 2-3 questions, because I'm short of time, before that, I'd like to introduce one gentleman who is from Bangladesh. He's Mr. Professor Masude Khan. Please, sir, can you stand up for a while with us? I know this gentleman, in between COVID, he do lots of seminar, lots of business development, and he's from Better Bangladesh Foundation and CEO and chairman. Sir, for 1 minute, you not need to come in here. I give you mic, sir. Just give us some feedback. You can use this mic to us, please. Just 1 minute, you can say us something.
Very good afternoon. Kazi Sarwar, my good friend, giving me opportunity. Thank you so much. I'm the chairman of Better Bangladesh Foundation. Broadly, I'm working with the NRBs, non-resident Bangladeshis, and branding Bangladesh for more than a decade. And I'm the official partner of Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Prime Minister's Office. So we talk about investment and branding Bangladesh. So here I can see the glittering audience, and of course the panelist, very esteemed panelist. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. আমরা যেটি বলছিলাম যে বাংলাদেশের যে সাম্প্রতিক বছরগুলোতে বাংলাদেশের যে ডেভেলপমেন্ট আনপ্রেসিডেন্টেড ডেভেলপমেন্ট সেটি কিন্তু সম্ভব হয়েছে আপনাদের জন্য প্রায় 1 কোটির বেশি যারা এনআরবি যারা পৃথিবীর বিভিন্ন দেশে ছড়িয়ে আছে তারা 45 থেকে 50 বিলিয়ন ইউএস ডলার রিজার্ভ আমাদের সেটার জন্য আপনাদেরকে আমি স্যালিউট জানাই বাংলাদেশ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ডেভেলপমেন্টের পক্ষ থেকে এবং বেটার বাংলাদেশ ফাউন্ডেশনের পক্ষ থেকে আমি শুধু এই সুযোগে বলে রাখি যে বাংলাদেশ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট ডেভেলপমেন্ট অথরিটি আমরা একটি ইনভেস্টমেন্ট সামিট করছি 28th এবং 29th নভেম্বর 2021 তো আপনাদেরকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাবো এখানে আপনারা আসবেন এবং বিবিএফ আপনারা জানেন যে বাংলাদেশ বেটার বাংলাদেশ ফাউন্ডেশন বহু বছর ধরে এনআরবিসদের নিয়ে কাজ করে আমরা লাস্ট 2020-তে আমরা ব্র্যান্ডিং বাংলাদেশ সামিট করেছি নিউ ইয়র্কে এবং আমি এখানে আসবার আগে অর্থাৎ 3 দিন আগে আমরা একটি ইয়ুথ সামিট করেছি বাংলাদেশের যে টোটাল পপুলেশনটা 2/3 অফ দি টোটাল পপুলেশন আর দি ইয়াং পিপল তো তাদেরকে পেছনে রেখে বাংলাদেশের উন্নয়নের কথা ভাবা যাবে না সেজন্য আমি বলতে চাই যে আপনারা যারা এখানে আছেন বাংলাদেশের অত্যন্ত প্রাউড সান অফ দ্য সয়েল আপনারা বাংলাদেশকে এগিয়ে নিতে পারেন একটু ইনভেস্টমেন্টের কথা বলা হয়েছে এবং তার আগে আমার আগে যে প্যানেলিস্ট তিনি বলেছেন যে আমাদেরকে এখন এই পার্সপেক্টিভটি নিয়ে ভাবতে হবে বিশেষ করে এই এনআরবিসদের যে ওয়েলফেয়ার সেটি নিয়ে আমাদেরকে বেশি করে ভাবতে হবে তাহলেই বাংলাদেশ ইনভেস্টমেন্ট
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Mr. Masude Khan, Chairman for Better Bangladesh Foundation. This gentleman, I like to thank him from my heart because in between COVID, I find him to try to connect his opportunities to all the people for Better Bangladesh Foundation. He's moving here and there. That's why I love to thank him from our bottom of my heart because we NRBs, we love to work together. So any audience, any questions from audience? 1 or 2 questions. Then I like to conclude my session today. Any questions? Okay. So I like to go to my chair to conclude this event and say a few words for us. And we're short of time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks the panelists, keynote speakers. This is for valuable value add for this important event. And the moderators, you did an excellent job. In the short amount of time, this is all we have. I think the theme is how do we, there's a tremendous opportunity at Mr. Hawk said, and our colleague, the BCI director, is the skills and also the facilities that we have. So let's not complicate these matters. To come up with some low-cost, high-impact solutions, very simplified, very relevant investment area. In Bangladesh, we need about 29 million jobs by 2030 in the world. So how we can bring our workforce as a part of global workforce. And that's how you can create the economic and consumer powers. More jobs they have, more consumer power they have, more revenue or direct FDI they can earn. So let's have with that and inject ICT into health sector, education sector, financial sector, and every sector. We have all that mentioned, all artificial intelligence, neural networks, and the augmented reality, everything is there. But let's go back to basic. Bangladesh is thriving with the over 8% GDP year after year, even in the pandemic time. Let's think about what is the relevant technology for pandemic, this kind of pandemic time, and how we can make it more relevant, more transform for humans, for society at large. With that, I thank you all, and thank you, audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, audience from all of the part, from the different part of the world. Thank you for listening us. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Hope to see you soon, sir.
Global Business Television. Connect your business to the world.